This is the last day in my house that I've lived at for the last 8 years, and I'm packing, I'm loading things up in my car, and I'm just feeling everything. I'm documenting everything and sharing with you guys how hard it is, but it can be done. It can be done. If you're in a similar situation of wanting to end a relationship or marriage, it's going to be very, very hard, but it is possible. I move out officially tomorrow, but I've just been in here in the house while no one else is here, and I just have all these memories running through my head, and it just sucks. It just sucks right now.
This is the side of starting over people rarely post. One decision can change your whole life overnight. I respect the honesty, but pain is a reminder that every choice comes with a price. Don't confuse courage with certainty. They're not the same thing. Think long-term before making a permanent move based on temporary emotions.
I just came to the realization that, like, if you're 40 years old, you're never gonna find love. Like, oh my God. Sorry, I woke up like really, really emotional because I was married for, oh my God, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like, I was so used to being a wife. Like, I loved being married, you know? Like, I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to. And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better, you know?
This is another classic case of a woman who had a loyal husband, a stable home, and 20 years of shared history, and still said, I'm bored. So she left. Why? Because the spark was gone. Ma'am, it's a marriage, not a fireworks display. Then she met some new guy who gave her butterflies, which, let's be honest.
First, I genuinely feel for her, because rebuilding your life after a 20-year marriage is incredibly difficult. But this also shows the difference between long-term commitment and the excitement of dating. Butterflies fade. Character, loyalty, and consistency are what carry relationships for decades. If every new spark becomes the standard, nobody will ever feel like they're enough. Love isn't just about finding someone better. It's about building something worth keeping.
It just doesn't feel good to be replaced so easily. And I always knew that I could be replaced because every wife, mom, whoever you are, even men, everybody is replaceable. And you don't think you are until you are replaced. And for a man like my husband, my cooking can be replaced by a chef or delivered meals. My cleaning can be replaced by a cleaning lady. My love can be replaced because she doesn't want it. Well, how do you do it? How do you keep it together in front of your kids and pretend like you're not falling apart and like your life is not over? So if you have any advice, I'll take it. Okay, bye.
This woman is really realizing that she was not that special after all. She really believed in her core that she was irreplaceable until it happened. This is exactly how many modern women think, and that is the origin of the problem of modern relationships. Many women believe that once they leave a man, his life will probably be worse. This is the real reason we see a lot of women disrespecting their men even in public. Guys, never let a woman think that she cannot be replaced. Once she gets too comfortable, she will not feel the need to make any effort in the relationship, and the relationship goes downhill from there. They only realize how much they messed up once you leave. This woman is still indirectly reflecting on all the mistakes she made that led to her divorce.
This is a tough watch because the pain feels real. But here's the takeaway. Don't assume love survives on autopilot. Comfort without appreciation can quietly weaken even a long marriage. The goal isn't to make your partner feel replaceable. It's to make each other feel valued every day. That's how you protect a relationship before regret shows up.
And I decided that I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce. I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. And so we sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? Therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying and I was like, I want a divorce. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? So he responded right away and he's like, fine, let's just go ahead and finalize the details. And that was that. And I just was like, I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. Like I knew that I was ready to leave that day, but I couldn't believe that that was his reaction. There was no empathy. There was no compassion. There was no like wanting to fight for us, which I didn't think that there would be, but you just always hope that like one last try, I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. And I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he's like, what's to talk about? In my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer the ship around, And I was like, so what are we going to do? And he just kept playing. And he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life.
While she was expecting an argument, he was already making a plan. While she was bracing for tears, he was preparing for peace. And that's what makes regret instant, because regret doesn't always hit when the papers are signed. Sometimes it hits when she comes home the next day, seeing him play video games and realizing he's not broken. He's not devastated. He's fine. And she's the one left staring at the empty space where her stability used to be. This is the moment modern women don't prepare for, when he doesn't fight to keep her, when he doesn't chase, when he doesn't crumble. Because once a man accepts her decision, his life starts moving forward faster than she ever expected. And that's when regret stops being a possibility and it becomes a guarantee. And here's the bigger truth. That story isn't rare. It's a mirror of what's happening everywhere. Women are filing thinking that they'll find better. Men accept, adapt, and they build better. And the gap between those two outcomes is where regret lives forever. So, what do we really learn from all of these stories, all of these regrets? That the bigger shock of divorce isn't when the papers are signed. It's when the man refuses to play the role she expected. She thought he would beg. He accepted. She thought he would break down. He built up. She thought he would wait for her to come back. He moved on before she even looked back. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean every woman who filed for divorce is wrong. Some leave for good reasons. Abuse, betrayal, situations that no one should tolerate. But the bigger picture here isn't about one individual story. It's about a cultural shift where women are told divorce will always make their lives better, when in reality, for most, it doesn't. And that's why regret keeps showing up again and again. And here's the final truth. Once he's gone, he's gone.
The biggest thing I noticed is she asked for the divorce, but she still expected him to convince her to stay. Once someone hears, I want a divorce, they have every right to accept that decision at face value. His calm response doesn't automatically mean he never cared. It could mean he had already processed the relationship. Nobody should be expected to beg after being told they're no longer wanted. If you make a life-changing decision, be prepared for the other person to make one too.
I was feeling really positive this morning, but these are the parts of divorce that are really hard, and starting over and all of that, when you just know, like, you're not going to give your kids, like, the same quality of life. that they've always had. Like, I just really feel like I've failed them. By not being able to, like, keep our family together. And it really sucks. And it's really hard. I just hate it. And just to feel like you're so completely screwed over. You've always done all the right things, and there's just totally out of my control, and that's how my days go. Positive mornings, and then things can change quickly based on trying to figure things out. So this is what my real life looks like.
I can hear the pain in her voice, especially when she talks about her kids, and that's the hardest part of this clip. But saying, "I did everything right," is a big claim, because every long marriage has two perspectives. If a relationship falls apart, the most productive question is, what could each of us have done differently? Divorce has real emotional and financial consequences that don't disappear because someone wanted a fresh start. The lesson is to think beyond today's.
I left him because I decided to put myself first. That's really the most basic reason. And to some it sounds very selfish, and it's not selfish at all. Au contraire, it's self-acknowledging, it's self-awareness, it's self-accountability, it's self-awareness, it's self-loving, it's self-nurturing. It's actually everything but selfish, because at least in my situation, a lot of women that follow me, we have always put others before ourselves, right? A lot of women put friends, bosses, lovers, husbands, partners first, and they do what's good for them before doing what's good for ourselves. They compromise their emotions, their well-being, their happiness, their needs, their basic needs of happiness, of safety, of security, to be in their relationship or to be with somebody else so that they won't be alone. And that was really my life story. I had such a lack of worth that I felt that if I were alone, I would die. I felt that if I were alone, no one would be with me. I felt that no one would love me, and that this was my lot, and this is what God wanted for me, and I just had to accept it. And I really got into a stage of depression almost, because I was terribly unhappy for many, 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 many years. And one day, and I call that the tipping point, we had an argument over a friggin' pair of earrings. And it's never over the pair of earrings, and it's never over, about how she, shuts the cabinet doors, or that one argument, the last argument you had. It's called a tipping point. And I remember when we had that last disagreement over these earrings, I remember I said, I'm done. I was just done. And talk about collapsing. I did. I went into a 1-year state of chaos and depression and, death, emotional and energetic death. But I look back, that was 9 years ago. And it was the best fucking decision I ever made. I chose me. So I tell any human out there, choose you. Because if you don't choose you, no one else will. The most amazing thing happens when you choose you, others will too. But if you don't choose you, others won't either. So it's definitely a whole like attracts like. And walking away from a multiple decade marriage relationship with kids is no joke. It has to be the last solution. You really, any husband-wife relationship that goes through this, especially when you have assets and money and kids involved, it's got to be the last option. I tried everything. Trust me, I tried everything. This wasn't an overnight thing. So, but no regrets. It was the best decision I made, and for me, I became the true fearless woman I am today.
Everybody claps for choose yourself, but nobody asks what everybody else pays when that choice is made. Kids, finances, shared dreams, decades of history, those don't disappear because a slogan sounds empowering. Now, if she truly tried everything, I respect owning that decision. But people online hear the headline and skip the years of counseling, conflict, and failed attempts she described. Permanent decisions deserve more than